Welcome to Lando Leaves Land. My name's Lando, and I traveled to Portsmouth, Virginia to buy my first sailboat. Where the winds take me, I don't really know, but it's gonna be an adventure. Subscribe, and thanks for joining me on this journey.
Just got to the Georgetown Landing Marina. Went from Bull Creek to Georgetown Landing through the Waccamaw. And gonna stay here for the night and then keep going in the morning. Went under this bridge to get here. Not this part of the bridge, over there. Had to go over here past a few markers and then cut back around into this marina here. And I'm on the outside transient dock right over here. And now I'm going to the store to do a little more provisioning. And I think it's a little bit of a walk, but that's all right. It's a beautiful day. Georgetown. Like the anchor spot here.
So I was actually trying to get to Front Street to check out Front Street here in Georgetown, and they said just go down St. James Street. So I did, but I didn't look at my map and I just went down St. James Street and I went the wrong way. But I got to see this marina here, and I got to see the anchorage where all the boats are anchored. And from what I read in the cruiser.net site, or Cruising World, wherever it was, it's really congested and the holding's not that great, and it all looked pretty accurate. All those boats look smaller than mine, and I think it would have been a little tough in there. So I'm glad we stayed at the landing marina. But all the houses and the trees around here are beautiful. I just love the trees that hang over. What are those, willows? I'm not a tree expert, I'm not sure. Hold up, never mind. I went the right way. I just didn't turn on Front Street. There it is. Gotta be this way because there's nothing the other way. Let's go down the middle of the road, go under the tree limbs, like Steve Martin in Father of the Bride. Stork Waterfront. Heard this place was good at the docks. Wild Fish Grill. If you visit Georgetown, you may notice a pretty foul stench and ask, what's that smell? Well, it's one of the largest paper mills in the world, and it's the largest supplier of jobs in Georgetown, and is much appreciated by the residents. Founded in 1729, Georgetown is South Carolina's third oldest city. 3 years later, it became an official port of entry, allowing for foreign imports and exports, which allowed Georgetown to quickly grow and thrive.
After the Revolutionary War, rice became a major crop in Georgetown, and local planters made huge fortunes as rice became known as Carolina gold. Many slaves were needed for the labor and were brought in to cultivate the crop, and the planters specifically targeted slaves from regions of Africa where they were already growing rice. However, after the American Civil War, there was no more slave labor. Combining that with a series of major hurricanes brought an end to the rice plantations and the rice culture of Georgetown.
Alarm just went off. It's 5 a.m. About an hour and a half before sunrise. Getting ready to head south down Winyah Bay to try and get high tide at McClellanville, where it's real shallow. Let's do this.
See you later, Georgetown. Beautiful morning. See you later, stinky factory. Thanks for the smells. Head out the harbor, wave to the lighthouse kid. You're a gosh darn sailboat captain. Is there anything better in the world? Whoa! You see that fish jump out of the water? Holy smokes! That was a big sucker. That was dinner right there. Lunch, dinner for a week. Barges, shallow water, narrow canal, and huge barges. So we exited out of Georgetown down the Winyah Bay and into some canals, creeks, and rivers that took longer than expected as the waterways were narrow and filled with traffic. We didn't reach McClellanville until it was already shallow again.
Going through very, very shallow water right now. I'm on the port side, trying to keep the boat leaning to the left so the keel doesn't get stuck in the mud.
Just powering through the mud. Not good. It's going between 6 and 7. I got a 6.5 keel. Dragging through mud. Well, we got through the main McClellanville mud spot. It was about like 3 miles of 6, 7, and even got down to 5, and I think my meter even said like 2 something at one point. But it was just mud and I was just powering through it. I didn't even have time to rub in my sunblock, as you can see. We're gonna try and get to a place called Price Creek. The tide is as low as it can get right now, so hopefully it will be a decent depth at that point. It should take us about 2 hours. 2 to 3 hours. It can only get better from here.
that you've decided to drop here?
So just anchored across outside from Isle of Palms. Got towed here by Towboat US after having the same problem with the stuffing box. Couldn't stop the leak, the flushing in of the water, even though the shaft was still in place. So I don't know what's going on. I couldn't see if there was a leak in the stuffing box or what. But it pays to have Towboat US or Sea Tow, one of the two. Real nice guy, Jason, helped us out. He's in this area. If you break down, he might get you. So took out the compost toilet and cleaning around the edges, cleaning the area. This is the funnest part in boats, cleaning the toilets, cleaning the head. But most boats don't have a compost. It actually makes your boat smell better than most boats, but you do have to maintain it occasionally. You take the toilet and you dump all the peat moss out and the stuff out, and clean it and do it all over again. This vent here actually takes some of the smell out. Alright, so I got the toilet back on. Now this may look a little grosser than it is, but it's just peat moss. It's just peat moss dirt. Actually cleaned out everything inside for the most part. Next time I'll probably do an even better job. But I'm going to take some peat moss out of the bag here. Just going to keep putting it in there. And what that does is, when your stuff goes in there, you actually turn the handle there on the side, and it grinds it all up together and composts it, and then it don't stink. You probably have to do this, you know, maybe once a month or once, depending on how many people are on board. But your boat doesn't stink like some boats do. When I was a kid, I was on a boat, and man, I could not stand the smell of that bathroom. Made me seasick, made me nauseous, because I had to smell that combined with diesel and obviously the motion. It's morning time, just outside our anchorage, just outside Isle of Palms. We had a reservation at Isle of Palms for today, but I think we're gonna try and get the towboat guy to take us over to the Charleston Harbor Marina instead. I think it'll be easier to find a mechanic over there if I need one. Because Isle of Palms is kind of far from the rest of Charleston, and I'll have a much wider selection of people over there, I'm sure. Plus the amenities are supposed to be a lot better there. And we'll get to see the city of Charleston maybe. Low tide. Waiting on the Towboat US guy to get here. But pretty sure my rudder is deep in that mud. Probably my keel as well. It gets a little deeper over here. Should be okay. No biggie. Been there before. Lots of interesting wildlife around here. Little birdies. I saw like a ferret or a, I don't know what it was. I don't think it was a possum. It looked like a ferret. I don't know if that's possible. You tell me, South Carolina people. Just a few jet skiers. So yeah, the towboat's here and can't get us out of the mud, so we're just waiting for high tide pretty much. This guy's enjoying the show over here. I think it's actually, I have a 6.5 draft, but it drops off real fast, so I think like the keel is probably almost out of the mud, if not already. It's the rudder in the back. And I don't know if I want to put all that pressure on the rudder, pulling us out the rudder through the mud. I don't know. Maybe that's fine. Prop could probably be in the mud too.
So we got off the mud there in the anchorage, just waited about 5 minutes and the tide rose just enough to pull us off. And now...
Voyager, towboat nav on 1-2.
Go ahead.
Hey, what's your clearance?
Clearance is 56. Okay. We got off the mud. Just waited for the tide to rise just a bit. And towboat Captain Chris here is taking us past Isle of Palms Marina on our way to Charleston. Still low tide, hopefully we'll be alright going through this canal. I've heard it's pretty shallow.
Little golf going on here through the canal. South Carolina likes their golf. Coming up on the bridge. Never gone onto a bridge being towed. There's a first. Made it through. Swing bridge took forever to open. I was getting nervous there. And then this guy was rocking up on, about to pass us.
So we made it into the marina and settled in for the evening with plans to hopefully find a mechanic the next day. Really frustrated right now because I don't know what to do with this engine. There's no mechanic available in the Charleston area. Everybody's just slammed with work apparently. You know, starting the season of cruising, I guess, the summertime cruising, everybody's just slammed, and so we're stuck at this marina here. 90 bucks a night, not cheap. And apparently there's a race in the area here this weekend, and we have to leave by Wednesday. So that means I'm gonna have to call Towboat US again, I think, and try to take us somewhere else. And probably all the other marinas are packed too. So I don't know, it's just frustrating. I have to find some place to be until a mechanic can help. The rudder is just, I mean, not the rudder, the shaft is wobbling tremendously. So I don't know if it's because the motor's running too rough, or I just called my cousin and he thought, you better check the propeller, you might be missing a blade, that's why it's wobbling so much. Don't really want to dive in this freezing cold water to do that. Maybe I'll find some guy that's already in with a wetsuit. I don't know what to do. Thanks for following along. Stay tuned for the next episode as I spend a few more days at the Charleston Harbor Marina and venture into downtown Charleston. I see some regatta racers, and finally, I get a mechanic to check things out, and I find out the verdict. Here's the whole sailing playlist from the beginning to the end if you haven't seen it. Don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, hit that bell icon so you don't miss anything along the way. And I'll see you in the next video.